Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mac and Talk for Tuesday, February 22nd, 2021. I'm your host, Chanelle Allen. Mac and Talk is an open forum Q&A conference call for anyone with Mac questions, whether you are considering the purchase of one, or maybe you've had a Mac around for a little while and need some help learning VoiceOver, or you have a question about an app or feature. For whatever reason, I am glad that you have joined us either tonight live or later on via the podcast recording. Since this meeting is being recorded, we ask that everyone kindly stay on mute unless asking a question or making a comment. Then when it is your turn to speak, please do your best to eliminate all background noise. That will help us preserve the quality of the call. All right, just know we do not use the raised hand feature. I'm going to go through a couple of announcements and then we'll get to our introductions. The best way to find out about all of the things going on at iBUG today, and we certainly have lots, several events per week, is to visit our website, ibugtoday.org. Even better, once you're on that website, you can register to become a member. It's free, and you will receive emails before each of our events take place. So it's a great way to be notified of everything. You can also listen to recordings of our previous workshops and just learn more about who we are, what we do, all of that good stuff. There is a link for upcoming events, which you might also find helpful. All of our announcements are posted to social media as well. We have a Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/iBugToday. It's a great place for people to ask questions in between events. And for Mac-specific questions, we do have a Mac and Talk discussion group. If you visit our website, ibugtoday.org, find the Mac and Talk link, then you will find the group address, including for subscribing, and my personal email if you have any questions. We are also on Twitter at iBugToday and Instagram. And even if you don't have Twitter, you can just type twitter.com/iBugToday into your web browser and you'll find all kinds of interesting tweets posted by our Twitter master Herbie Allen on the latest Apple news, deals, rumors, and more, including various Mac how-to guides. And we are also on YouTube. Trying to think about, that's not really social media, but it's a great resource for checking out our workshops. If you prefer viewing things on YouTube, then go there, search for iBug Today. And what's great about YouTube is we have the recordings from our latest Mac class there. So check it out. And next, I'll talk about announcements for this week. On Thursday, we have our It's iBug's Life event that takes place from 6 to 8 Eastern. I could be wrong about the ending time, but it is on Zoom. All of our events take place on Zoom, except where a couple take place in Clubhouse, and they are in Central Time. And our facilitator, George Batiste, will talk about various topics related to independent living. This month, it's grooming, so come check that out. Then on Friday, come to iBug Night at the Virtual Movies, beginning at 7:30 p.m. with a pre-movie social, followed by the movie at 8, which is this week called The Theory of Everything. It is about Stephen Hawking. And a discussion follows the movie. On Saturday, we have our iBug Apple workshop, also on Zoom, from 2 to 4 p.m. Central. By the way, the same Zoom ID is used to get into all of these events. And that Apple workshop is a great time where we talk about the latest Apple news. And then some of our members give great app demos. So come have fun with us there. Every Monday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Central, we have iBug Buzz, which is also a Q&A conference call, but for anyone with iOS and iDevice questions. So definitely come to that, or visit us in Clubhouse on Tuesdays from 5 to 6 p.m. On the first and third Tuesdays, we have the iBug Mac Buzz, which is very similar to this call, Mac and Talk. And on the second and fourth Tuesdays, we have iBug mini buzz. And so Clubhouse is another great opportunity for you to come meet us and ask questions. For everything else, like I've said, definitely check out the website and the upcoming events tab. Okay, now we're going to get into introductions. In just a minute, I'll have you go around the room, say your name, and if you are joining us for the first time, your name, where you're calling from, and if you're joining us for the first time. And if you want to participate, you will be able to do so on a Mac, Command-Shift-A to unmute, on a PC, Alt-A, and on both Mac and PC, you can temporarily unmute by holding in the space bar while you're speaking, then lift up when you're done. If you're using an iPhone, you'll find unmute in the lower left-hand corner. On an iPad, it's in the middle of the screen. And on a telephone, use *6. I think I said this before, but we do not use the raised hand feature. So I am Chanelle Allen in Houston, and I am happy to have you here with me. Who wants to go next?
Raheel from Albany, New York.
Welcome, Raheel.
Hey, this is Brad. I'm in Dallas.
Hi, Brad. Welcome.
Hi, it's Becky. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello. You said Becky?
Hi. Yes, it's Becky. I'm from Winter Haven, Florida. First time on this call, and I'm going to be in your Mac class in March.
Okay. How did you hear about us?
I think I've heard about you through a mailing list at some point.
Okay,
and then I listened
great.
to your Mac class from the previous parts of it, and I loved it.
And you said your name is Becky?
Yes, I'm Becky. You just emailed me recently. I'm going to be in your Mac course in March.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Who's next?
I guess I could go next. My name is Kate, and I'm from Hanover, New Hampshire. And right now is my first time doing this. Yeah.
Welcome. And you said you heard about us from Raheel? Okay, you muted. Well, welcome. We love new people. All right, who's next?
I'll go.
Okay, I heard Kim. So.
Hi, this is Kim from Indiana. First time on this call, and it's neat. I like it.
Awesome. Well, welcome. We're glad to have you.
Wilhelmina, and I'm from Philadelphia, and this is my first time on this call also.
Great. And I think you've come to some of our other events before. Cassandra,
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a Mac?
I have a Mac my son just sent me, so I'm hesitant, but I'm want to hear what and how and who and when and all that about it.
Well, great. You've come to the right place. Welcome.
Okay, thanks.
This is Roy in Fort Worth.
Yes, Roy, welcome. All right. And who was somebody else was speaking?
This is Harry from Reno, Nevada.
Okay. Hi, Harry. Welcome.
I'm going through the class from last fall, and I'm through the first 3 or 4, and good grief, I'm glad that they're recorded because I have to listen to them several times.
Yes, there's a lot there. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And the lady who was just trying to speak?
That was probably me. I'm Kathy. I live in Boston.
All
Yeah.
right.
Boston, Massachusetts, first time on this call, and I also am going to be in the Mac class.
Perfect. Great. I'm glad to have you and glad to have you here.
Sandhya from Houston.
Hi. Welcome.
This is Dan from Southern California, and nice to have all these first timers here.
It is great, and great to have you here too, Dan. Thanks. And who else was speaking?
This is Judy in Connecticut.
Judy, yes.
I just want to say for all those people that are taking the class, it's the best in the world. Chanelle puts together an encyclopedia. That's what it is, you guys. And you'll go back for months and months reading it. It's incredible. That's my vote.
It's such a great opportunity. I'm so excited about it.
Thank you. All right. So, I forgot kind of how to mention. First of all, have we gone through everyone? Does anyone else want to say hi?
Hi, good evening. My name is Olubumi, but everybody calls me Bumi.
Bunmi. Okay.
Yes, I'm
Welcome.
currently in Toronto, but I'm Nigerian, and
Okay.
it's my first time on the call, and I'll be in the class next week. I'm looking forward.
Great. Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to having you. Thanks so much for being here.
This is
You're
Diane
welcome.
from Atlanta.
Okay, Diane, you'll be in the class too, right?
Yes, yes.
Awesome.
Mhm,
Wonderful. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thanks everyone
And
for
now,
showing up. Yes.
and so about the class. So how do I sign up for the class?
Who is this?
This is Wilhelmina.
All right. So our current class. So first of all, have we gone through? Is there anyone else who would like to say hello?
John from Wisconsin.
Hi, John. I knew you were out there. Welcome. Glad to have you back.
Jan from
This is
Ohio.
Shree.
Jan, welcome. All right, and Shree, great. Glad to have you here. We have both newcomers and old timers, so perfect. Okay. Oh, was somebody else about to speak? All right, so just real quick, the class, if you go on our website, ibugtoday.org, and then you look for the Macintalk link, you will find my email. I can't remember if it's listed anywhere else, but I think that's the best place to find it. And just let me know that you are interested in the class, and I'll send you back an email, say thank you, you've been added to our waiting list, and then when our next class comes around in September, I'll probably be sending out an announcement in August, and then you can sign up for the class then. We do have a bit of an application that you fill out, but everything we offer is free of charge. So anyone is welcome to join. Okay, and then just real quick, I know I mentioned about the muting and unmuting, but how we do things here is if someone has a question or a comment, you'll say your name, and then before talking, you'll wait to be acknowledged by either me or Brad or Sandhya, probably me most of the time, and then you'll make your comment and ask your question. And once that's done and it's been acknowledged, if you can please go back on mute, that would be so helpful. So with all of that out of the way, who would like to ask the first question?
This is Dan.
Yes, Dan.
Okay. I'm running Big Sur on my Mac, and I'd like to know how to bring up Spotlight Search. It used to be Command Space, but now that brings up Siri, and I don't need Siri. I need Spotlight Search. So how do I? Anybody can tell me how to bring up Spotlight Search?
All right, who wants to help Dan? Oh, Brad. Was I hearing Brad?
Brad, I was going to say
Go
Command
ahead.
Space should still do it. You may be, I can't remember the keyboard command for Siri because I think I changed mine, but it may be that it wants you to, are you sure? It maybe you hold it down. I don't know. I'd go check your commands for Siri, and you can always change it to something else, but Spotlight should be hold down command and hit space bar, and that should bring up the Spotlight dialog.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But
nothing's changed that I'm aware of. That's how I do it. Of course, I'm running Monterey now, but
I have found those commands are always in conflict, so I recommend that people change them because you should be able to hold commands. So technically, holding command space is supposed to be Siri, but sometimes I forget to hold it, and so then it presses, and then it, so I just always change my Siri shortcut. So Dan, I think you would go into System Preferences and then Siri, and that's where you would change your shortcut.
This is Shree.
Yeah, Shree, go ahead.
So I, mine is still the old-fashioned way. The only difference that I do is I'm always holding the command key down, and to get Spotlight, I'm just doing a quick press on the space bar. But if you press the space bar down and hold, you're going to get Siri. So it's depending on how fast you're pressing that space bar is going to determine whether you get the Spotlight or Siri.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
All right, thanks for that clarification.
It's Becky.
Yes, Becky.
Okay, I had two questions. The first of which is, has anyone used Google Sheets? Google Chrome?
Oh, Okay, I don't think so. First of all, let's see. Did you have anything related to this topic before we move on? We want to
Oh,
keep with the same topic.
no, I'm sorry.
It's
Okay.
okay. Oh, I know you. Okay, you go by Rebecca. Okay.
Yeah.
That's where I was getting confused. Okay. Well, welcome just the same. And are there any more questions on this topic? Otherwise, we can move on to Becky's question.
This is Kim.
Yes, Kim, go ahead.
Well, I use Option spacebar for Siri.
Okay.
But I have noticed on Monterey, some things have changed. It's weird. I don't know why. But yeah, I use Option space.
Okay. All right. Well, that's so you use an alternate command, and so it sounds like hopefully one of those things helps you, Dan, either holding the space less or changing it to a different key. Hopefully that'll help. All right. So Becky, yes, we'll take one of your questions. You were mentioning something about Google Sheets.
Yes, I had a question about that, and I had a question about Catalyst apps. About Google Sheets. Have you guys had any success using it with the Mac? Because I tried it with the iPhone, hated it, used it on Windows. Sometimes it can get sluggish, and so I'm wondering if it's any better on the Mac. Because I use it for work a lot. I freelance.
All
This is
right.
Brad.
Yes, Brad.
There is an excellent article on AppleViz called Taming the Beast. And it is about using Google Sheets, or actually the Google Suite, but it starts with Google Sheets on the Mac through the web browser. There's no app. You have to use the web browser, either Safari or the Google Chrome browser. And one of the things the article talked about is there's pluses and minuses to both. So one's not really any better than the other. But Taming the Beast, using Google Sheets on a Mac.
Was this awesome?
Okay. Was this posted recently? I'll have to check into that.
I don't know. I recently went to a workshop offered by Chancey Fleet at the New York Public Library, and she tries to make it about, any OS, but really she's talking Windows and JAWS, and some of the keyboard commands that she gave weren't accurate. So I did a Google search for using Google Sheets on Mac OS, and that was one of the search results I got. And
okay.
I actually have the article bookmarked. It was a pretty good article. So
awesome.
It's a lot of information there. I'm still working on it. So I'm trying to tackle Google Sheets. So
if you think of it, maybe send it to the Mac and Talk list if you can have the link handy, because
I will.
that would be.
I can do that.
All right, perfect. Does anyone else have experience working with Google Sheets that they want to contribute or anything?
This is Sandhya.
Yes, Sandhya.
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did work on it a little bit, and I think it's accessible. I mean, obviously, Brad's article will be very helpful, but I was kind of flailing around. But I mean, I was able to, read through the different columns and so forth. I think I needed to learn how to navigate between different tables. So.
Well, thank you, because it's its own beast. Just I was
Yeah.
forced to learn
Remember to say your name before you talk. That's how we do. But yeah, and then I can acknowledge you. But sorry, not to interrupt. Go ahead and finish what you're saying.
Oh, it's okay. I'm new to this, Becky.
You're good.
Yeah, I had to learn it. In fact, I know Mystic Access has a really good tutorials, mainly on Windows. But yeah, it took me a while to learn it on Windows, and I'm gonna make sure it was good on the Mac before I started doing more work. That's why I was asking about it.
All right. I can just say Brad?
I'm sorry, I was going to say, I think I misspoke. The article starts out with Google Docs and then moves into the other sheets and perhaps slides too. But it gives you a good intro to getting started on it. So I'm sorry, I misspoke there. I said sheets, but I'm thinking
no, that's
Docs.
okay.
But it does start with Docs and moves into the other applications. In the
all
suite.
of it will help.
Yes,
awesome.
It's all kind of all. Once you master one, you're most of the way there on the others.
Perfect. Yeah, I can just say real briefly, I've had to work in a Google Sheet and I've found Chrome to be a bit more helpful than Safari, and then pressing Command Option Z, and then I'm able to navigate it almost like an Excel. But that's a great question. And who would like to ask our next question? Becky, will come back to your others later if there's time, but we want to give everyone a
Raheel?
chance. Yes, Raheel, go ahead.
So what does Command Option Z do in Google Chrome? Because you just said,
That turns on screen reader mode in Google applications like Docs and Sheets and
oh,
Slides and
okay.
yeah, some of those others.
So it's like a virtual cursor in JAWS, like you turn that
No,
off with
no,
Insert
it's
Z? No?
it's a screen reader mode that makes it more accessible to work with screen readers.
Thanks.
Yep. Great clarification question. All right, who has our next question?
This is Bumi.
Yes, Buni, go ahead.
I can't find Zoom, Teams, and Chrome on my Mac. I'm on Monterey.
Okay, you can't find the Zoom app? Is that what you're saying?
No, I can't. It's not in my app store.
In your apps or in your, you
It's
said
not, I can't find it in the app store.
App Store. Okay. So who would like to explain to Bunmi the deal with Mac apps?
There's Brad.
Yeah, Brad, go ahead.
Well, neither one, Google Zoom nor Google Chrome is in the Mac App Store. Zoom, you're going to want to go to the Zoom website, and actually you would go to zoom.us/downloads, and you'll take you right to the page where you'll download it. It figures out which OS you're using and which browser. Well, the browser doesn't matter. It figures out which OS you're using, and it will present you with an option to download. Be aware that if you're using a Mac with an M1 processor, you can use the regular Zoom for Mac, but if you navigate beyond the download button, you will find a notation that there's a separate version that's for the M1 Mac chip. So, but that's where you would go to find it. And as for Google Chrome, I go to google.com, and actually I've done a Google search for Google Chrome for Mac download, and it usually takes me to a page where I can download it.
Yep, sounds good.
Or rather, should I say, one of the Google search results is the page where you go to download it.
Right. All right. Awesome. Yeah, that's the thing with a lot of many apps on the Mac, you actually get many third-party apps you get from websites. The Mac Store isn't as big of a deal in Mac OS as the iOS or as the App Store is in iOS. So that's one difference. Great. All right. Anyone else want to contribute on this topic? Or are we good? Does that help, Bunmi?
Yeah, it does. Thank you. But where do I go to download Teams?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How about to download Teams? Where do I go to?
Your downloads folder or your...
Like, I want to download
I
Microsoft
believe she said,
Teams.
this is Brad. I think she wants to download Microsoft Teams.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I would do the same thing. I would search our Microsoft Teams for Mac download. Type that into your search box, and you should get search results should have it.
Thank you.
All right. Awesome. Yep, Brad has given us tricks before for how to make good use of that Google search and, how to get more directly to those things we want to download. So awesome. Great question. All right. Who would like to ask the next one?
Currently unmuted. Hi, it's Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
So lately on my iMac, it periodically will say Siri is not responding. Not Siri is busy, but Siri is not responding. And then I can quit Safari and do all that, but I just don't understand why.
Okay. Does this happen when you make Siri requests, or
No, it's random, really. It's when I'll be on the Mac and I'll be on a web page and I'll hit a link, or I will type in a link and it will say Siri not responding. Eventually it will, or like I said, I can quit Safari and get it to do that.
you mean does it say Safari not responding or Siri?
Yes.
Oh,
No, Safari. I'm sorry, Safari.
Okay. So who can help Nancy with a Safari not responding?
It's
This
Becky.
is
John with a
Dan.
comment.
Okay, John and then Becky. So John, go ahead.
Okay, what I would do in Safari, periodically you have to, well, if you're familiar with Windows, it's like delete temporary internet files and this kind of thing, and it's a common thing. You know, whether you're using Safari, Chrome, you know, Edge on Windows, or I mean, is there Edge? Yeah, on Windows, whatever. It's a common thing. You know, you need to maintain it once in a while. So when you go into, while you're in Safari, bring up your Apple menu and go right down to clear history, and I choose all, and that's you might want to do that periodically. Let me let up a second. Hang on. Okay. And another program I would run, and you can get this from Titanium Software, and it's called Onyx, OYNX. That's an uppercase X, and that's actually goes, I think, all the way back Snow Leopard, I think, and they do have a Monterey version as well. So that's my comment.
Great, thank you. And Becky?
Is it certain websites? Because I found no matter what operating system you use, some websites will trip up certain browsers. So I would also test whatever you're using in a different browser. And the other comment is, what does Onyx do?
Okay, and was somebody else trying to speak as well when we had Yeah, Brad, go ahead.
Yeah, I've experienced this a lot too lately, particularly in Big Sur and Monterey, which I realize Safari is kind of separate, but they've made updates to Safari along with those OSs. I found there's something going on. You know, I don't know about John's suggestion about clearing the history. I've never done that. I found it's a processing issue. You would think, you know, modern Macs. I have two Macs. One runs as an M1 chip and one's a Intel i7, and I get it on both. So it doesn't matter which processor you got. I have found Command F5, turn voiceover off. That way the computer's got less going on. Give it a few seconds, 15, 20 seconds, turn voiceover back on. Problem's gone.
A great idea, both of those. Awesome. So clearing your history or just a simple turning voiceover off and back on might help. All right. Was anyone else?
This is Shri.
Yeah, Shri.
So my question is, are you running Wi-Fi or are you running in a LAN connection on your Mac?
It's Wi-Fi.
Is it possible for you to try it to be connected to a LAN and see if that problem goes away? If it does go away, it may, I'm going to say it may, indicate some kind of a packet loss that you're experiencing with your router.
Okay.
All right.
I will.
Because typically when it says Safari's not responding, you know, the way, you know, packets work is there's always a handshake going back and forth. And sometimes when that handshake doesn't acknowledge, you may get Safari's not responding.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I will try that. Thank you. My computer is pretty new, so I don't think the history part of it would help at all, but
This is
Yeah, Shri.
yeah, I'm in agreement with Brad. I don't think this is a cache issue.
right.
This is basically some kind of connection between your internet and your machine. It's saying, hey, I lost Safari connection, or I haven't received something. Because typically a sighted person is not going to hear that message. Safari's not responding. They're going to hear like probably a line or something that's going from left to right to say the completion of whatever the Safari is searching. We're just getting the voiceover feedback of that interpretation.
Yeah. Okay,
That's
thank
true.
you.
Yes, if you're able to connect it to Ethernet, or cord, and try it that way.
Well, I do have one of those, so I'll hook it up. Thank you.
Awesome. Great. All right. Who would like to ask our next question?
It's
Roy.
Becky. Can I? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, Roy, go ahead.
Yeah, on my Mac, I get my TV movies, but I can't get my music in the music app. I've signed out and signed back in, but there's nothing there. Is there a step I need to take to tell it to bring in my music that I've purchased?
This is Brad.
Yeah, Brad.
In the music app, go to the menu bar, go to accounts, and I can't remember exactly how it says, but you need to authorize that computer.
I did. I've done that, and
it still didn't
nothing
do it.
happened. So I signed out and signed back in.
Have you gone to the music app preferences and make sure that you have whatever it's called to access your cloud music library? You want to check that box.
No, sir, I haven't. I'll do that.
That's probably it.
Okay.
It's on the
Thanks.
first general page of the music app preferences, pretty much right up at the top.
Okay, I'll go look. Thank you.
All right. Awesome. Hopefully that simple fix will help. Okay, who wants to ask our next question?
Hi, this is Ramshiv.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a recent Mac voiceover user. So when I interact with web page components such as drop-down or menu buttons, I use space and enter key a lot of the time. So I would like to know, is it all right to use space or enter key instead of the Mac voiceover and the space key? And how often you guys use it?
Okay, so is it all right to use just the space and enter keys, and how often? Who wants to talk about their experience using voiceover and non-standard voiceover commands?
This is Becky.
Yeah, Becky.
I find that sometimes if enter and space are not always reliable on their own, so that's why I tend to use the Mac commands like the VO space instead of enter space by themselves, because sometimes they just don't work, and trying to figure out when to use which one, it still gets to me, and I've had a Mac over a year.
Comes with practice. All right, who else would like to contribute?
Well, this is Brad.
Yes, Brad?
On a Mac, we don't use enter to like execute a program like we do on Windows. There's a different command. So unless you're in a text editor or word processing app where you're using enter to enter a line break or things like that, it's different. Actually, on a Mac, if you're in the Finder app, for example, you'll use enter to go into like rename mode. On a Mac, to execute or open a file, open a folder, you'll use either Command O or Command down arrow. And that's not a voiceover command. That's a general Mac OS keyboard command. But I generally find I use a combination of voiceover navigation and non-voiceover keyboard commands. Just depends on what I'm doing. But
right.
The voiceover keyboard commands are a pretty good way of using to navigate and interact with your computer when you're using VoiceOver. Don't sell them short.
This is Shri.
Yes, Shri.
I would say, from a beginner's perspective, try and keep things simple to yourself. So if using the VO keys is how you would navigate, because sometimes there's questions about, okay, you don't technically need to have the VO key. You can just use the arrow key or the space bar. When I first learned how to use it, especially if you're learning how to use it, try to stay in a sequence that you're going to always remember. Like I'm sure for those who are taking or going to take Chanelle's class, Chanelle is very smart. She knows all the ins and outs. I mean, you'll be surprised. You'll be amazed how much she knows. But when you get started, just start very basic. Just, because there's going to be things that you're going to have to memorize. So, if, hey, using the VO and the right arrow is the way for me to navigate instead of the right arrow, then it's not going to go wrong with the VO key and the arrow key. It's just, it's just one additional key you have to press. But if you're learning, if you're a first time learner, I would stay with what feels comfortable with you to get all that, I guess, the muscle memory and the brain memory of all these keyboard commands. And then you'll figure out, hey, at this injunction, I don't have to use the VO key. I can just use the arrow keys. I mean, that would be my comment, because that's how I learned it.
This is Brad.
Excellent. Yes, Brad.
Another point, I can't remember if it was on this call or another call, but there was a user who was having issues navigating in the Mac Mail app. And what she was doing was she was using the tab key, like on Windows. And she was in the Mail app. She was in the to field, was trying to enter a mail recipient, and was tabbing through to the CC field and the subject fields. And then she was trying to find the mail composition area, and all she heard was tab. It just kept saying tab, tab, tab. Well, she had landed in the mail composition area, but she didn't know it. And because VoiceOver gave her no indication, and she kept hearing tab, because now she's in the empty mail composition, and she just, every time she hits the tab key, it's entering a tab stop. And she had no idea. Whereas if she had been using VoiceOver navigation, VoiceOver would have told her where she was every step of the way. And when she got to the mail composition area, which is what she was looking for, it would have told her she was in the edit field area, and she could have then begun typing, but she did not know that. So like I said, VoiceOver navigation will give you, will let you know where you are and what you need to do when you're in that area.
Definitely. All right, Kim, go ahead.
I have started doing that, and it's doing exactly what he said, except after the subject field, I VO right arrow, and it doesn't say anything like message body or anything like that. I just kind of assumed after that that's where I was. But VoiceOver is not saying that. And this is, I just updated to Monterey. So I don't know if that's different or what, but for some reason it just thinks you should know you're in the body. It doesn't say it.
Okay. Well, generally
This is Shri.
Yeah, Shri, go ahead.
I'll wait till you're done, because you might say what I'm saying.
Generally the body is after the subject. I forget how many times you have to press VO right arrow, but yeah, go ahead, Shri.
And one of the things, when we get into situations like this, one of the best thing is to go back and forth, because once it may not initially say from subject, it'll say body. I can't quite remember, because it's a little confusing myself, because sometimes, in the body of the email, the attachments might be on the top, sometimes it's in the bottom. You may not necessarily know right away, but one thing you can always do is you can just go back and forth. VoiceOver will eventually, you'll as you navigate with this, some of the stuff, we are listening for the cues of the voiceover, and then eventually you'll pick it up. Like you won't, as soon as you hear subject and you right arrow, you've already passed all those the fields and you're in the body. But you're right. I may not always hear it because I'm at the point where I don't even, as soon as I hear subject and I VO right arrow, I know I'm in the body because it's not even something that I'm listening for. But eventually you will figure it out.
Okay.
That's right. And yeah, this is a good discussion. I think the topic on our list was we were talking about combo boxes and pop-up menus, and space and enter do work in a limited area like that, like a menu. But once you do, and even in the dock, you can activate items with the enter key. But yeah, on the Mac, enter does not work to open a file, as Brad said, and there are certain places, if there's a dialogue with lots of different buttons, then yes, go ahead, John.
I think we got to be careful. Well, it's not a real big deal. In Windows, it is the enter key. However, on the Mac, it is the return key.
Yes.
Now, those of you, and that's important. I listened to a podcast about Mac. One of the guys on there calls the command key the alt key.
Oh, dear.
There's a heck of a difference on that. And these guys have been doing this for years. And now if you've got a numeric keypad, the very right key on the bottom, that does say enter. And you can check this out yourself. If you do voiceover K, it'll give you all your key descriptions. So I know that's kind of a small point, but I think we got to sometimes keep the terminology correct, though, too.
That is important. Yes. Indeed. Thank you for your comment. All right. So does anyone else?
That was not aimed at you, Chanelle. That was a general purpose thing. So.
Oh, I understand.
Okay.
I totally understand. And we all have our opinions. We all come to the Mac from different backgrounds. As a Windows user, and I still do use Windows, I will naturally tend to prefer what are more Mac commands, that is, using space and the arrows and, things that anybody can use whether they are sighted or not, and they happen to use the keyboard. But the voiceover keys, like Brad was saying, do give a lot of extra context as to where you are, and that is very important sometimes. And like Sri said, you really do have to pick whatever method is going to help you learn. So, so there's lots of good pointers we can all draw based on our experience. So with all that being said, who would like to ask our next question?
It's Becky. Does anyone else want to go before I ask my catalyst question?
Go ahead. You can go.
Okay. The real reason why I came to the Mac initially was because I was excited about the idea of using my iOS apps on the Mac, and I'm sort of disappointed by the fact that it's not as accessible as I thought it would be. Do you guys have any success with the Catalyst apps? I've heard some people say they hate them, some people love them. I'm not sure what to make of it.
Which apps specifically are you trying to use? Maybe that would help us out.
I'm trying to figure out if I can play, like the games that I'm trying to think, like the Opoly game, the blindfold games, Messenger, FaceTime. I can't tell which are Catalyst apps and which ones are Mac apps, or which apps on my phone I can use on the Mac. I'm having trouble because I'd like to be able to, if anything happens on my iPhone, I want to use a Mac as a backup, or my iPad.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so has anyone had experience using iOS apps on the Mac, basically? Yeah, Brad?
Well, I have not had a lot of experience with this. And one of the reasons is, one of the problems is many of your apps for iOS are designed for touchscreen input, and touchscreen input does not exist on the Mac. The Mac screen is not a touchscreen now. Sometimes people will say, well, you can turn on Trackpad Commander and You can use certain iOS gestures, but that's different. That's for interacting with the operating system and sometimes interacting with certain apps using operating system commands. But from my understanding, that is one of the biggest drawbacks, or can't think of the right word to use, but one of the things that makes the whole concept of using iOS apps on the Mac not really work as one would hope they would.
Yep, that makes sense.
This is Shri.
Yes, Shri.
And I really thought the catalyst was basically with the productive apps. I don't recall it being really, or I haven't not heard a lot of people using Catalyst to play games going from your iPhone or from your iPad to the Mac, but more of like, especially Apple productive apps going from iPad to the Mac.
Right. I think there's certain, people have talked about the M1 Macs can be used, or some iOS apps will work on M1 Macs, but I'm not sure, like Shri said, if that is Catalyst specific or related to that. Does anyone else want to chime in?
It's Becky. Can I ask just
Sure.
one
This
follow-up
is
question?
Diane.
Oh,
Okay, Becky and then Diane.
okay. In that case, then, am I better off just learning the iPad as well and using it as a backup? And because I'm trying to figure out what's better on the iPad versus the Mac versus the phone. So maybe
All
the
right.
catalyst would be the Mac. I mean, the iPad.
Right. Before we get into that question, let's get to Diane.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to follow up on that. And basically, I think it was Sri that was right about Catalyst is more for productivity issues that you want to do from your iOS to your Mac. And as far as game playing, no, because developers have designed that so differently that it's not going to, from what I understand, it's not going to work on the Mac. But if also you want to use your iPad, your iPad is closer to your iPhone, which is iOS. So, it's iPhone OS or iPad OS. So if you want to play the games and everything like that, you can do that on your iPad if the developer has developed an iPad version of it. But but for Catalyst is more for productivity
Currently unmuted.
issues so far.
All right. Thank you. So, does anyone else want to respond to Becky's kind of other question about the advisability of using an iPad for backup, or or is that a good idea? Or
This is Shri.
yeah, Shri.
I'm still not very clear to the question she's asking. Is she trying to back up what's on her iPad to her Mac, or what is it that she's trying to do here?
Yeah, Becky.
It's Becky. Basically, what I'm trying to figure out is there such a thing of having too many iOS devices? I'm trying to figure out which task is better suited for the Mac versus the iPad versus the iPhone, because if anything happens to my iPhone, what kind of things can I safely use with the iPad, or which is better with the Mac? It's getting confusing because Apple claims everything can be, you could go from one operating system to the next kind of fluently, but I'm not finding that to be the case.
This is Shri.
Yeah, Shri.
So I would look at it this way. If the app runs on your iPhone, if the app runs on your iPad, and it's available on your computer, then you could say they should all work together. Not to say that what works on the Mac is going to work exactly like on the other two devices. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just the application should work. Now, if you find an app that's on your phone and it's not on the Mac, obviously that's not going to happen. So I think you have to look at it that way. And if you're worried about what's going to get saved, I would say if you have iCloud running and it's backing up to the iCloud, then there's nothing for you to worry, because as long as it's being backed up to the iCloud, you can always retrieve it. But I don't think I can really answer your question because I still don't have a clear idea. Like, is there something that you're doing in your iPad and it's not on your Mac, and that's what you're trying to ask? That's what I'm not very clear at.
No, I'm just trying to figure out which operating system is good for which task, and because I'm struggling with the iPad, but it's light and portable enough to carry, but I'm not sure exactly what I could do with it.
And then I
This is
think,
true.
okay, Shri, real quick, and then I think we should go to
Yeah.
Kim. Okay.
I'm just saying it really depends on the task that you're doing. If you feel more comfortable doing a task on your phone than on your Mac, you work on the task on your phone. Like for me, certain things I find it much more easier for me to use on my phone than on my Mac. So I will focus on those on what I'm feeling more comfortable working with.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Kim.
Yeah, go ahead, Kim.
I would say, from all that I'm hearing, if you're worried about something happening to your iPhone, you got to remember that iOS and OS are two different things. But it sounds like what you should do is learn how to do what you're doing on your iPhone, learn how to do it on your iPad. And remember to back both of those up to the cloud every now and then. My iPhone has to keep reminding me I'm not backed up. But yeah, it sounds like the iPad is going to do what the iPhone does. The Mac, I got the Mac because I was sick and tired of JAWS, and all I ever did on my Windows anyway was search the web, read my mail, that kind of thing. So my games and all that are on my iPhone. Don't have an iPad. And now I know my games won't work on the Mac. Okay, that's fine. But some things are easier to do on the iPhone and maybe also on the iPad. So just learn how to do on your iPad what you're doing on your iPhone and do the rest of the stuff. Learn, figure out how to do it on the Mac. And I just got the Mac because I wanted voiceover. I didn't even realize you'd be able to use finger gestures on the trackpad, but I wanted the quick nav and voiceover.
All right, great. Well, thank you. So yeah, it's just a matter of learning figuring out what tasks you want to do, and then sometimes it is trial and error to figure out which ones do better on what devices. But yeah, generally the iPhones are probably going to be better and iPads for games. They also make great entertainment consumption devices, but I know somebody who prefers to listen to lots of TV and music on the Mac. So it just is your personal preference and what you come to learn when and all that good stuff. So
thanks.
Yep, thank you. So who would like to ask the next question?
Quick question. This is Kate.
Yeah, Kate.
Sometimes I get stuck on the dock and I don't know how to get out of it. Me and Raheel were trying to work on this, but we couldn't see how to get out of it. Like I do a command, but then it doesn't jump out of it. So I'm just curious how to get that to jump out of it.
Okay. So getting out of
Raheel.
Yeah, go ahead, Raheel.
So Kate, yeah, just to confirm, you have a touch bar, correct?
Yes.
Touch bar, okay. Okay.
Now you're not trying to use the touch bar to go to the dock. Are you?
This is Brad.
Yeah, Brad, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, the question was how to get out of the dock?
No, how to get out of the not of the dock, but of the main
the menu bar.
Like the main area, like if I'm stuck on a like trying to think of the word on
Desktop?
like, for example, if I'm on a folder, it won't let me get out of the folder.
Okay. You're in a folder window, for example.
Folder window, and then I try to do a different command, and then like it says it's on there, but then I have trouble doing a different command because then the voiceover is still on that stuck on that one thing.
And if you're in a folder window, you may try stop interacting with the folder contents area, which is VO shift up arrow. And you may have to do it twice to get completely out of the folder view area. But if you really want to get out of the folder window altogether, Command W will close the window. You can also keep that window open, but maybe you want to go to the desktop and you're in Finder. There's a command called where you hold the Command key down and press the accent key. That's the key that's above the tab key and to the left of the number 1 on the number row. And that will switch you through windows in the same application. Now, the desktop, you don't think of that as a window, but Finder treats it as if it is a window. So if you have, for example, your documents folder open, and that's in a Finder window, if you do Command Tab, it will move you from the documents window to the desktop. And if you do it again, provided that the documents window is the only Finder window you've got open, it will take you back to the documents window. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
All right.
John with a comment.
Yes, John.
Kate, you might be talking about this as well. And I've seen this before too. If you're in a folder and you thought you closed the darn thing out, you hear it dinging. And there's no windows in the voiceover menu, whatever it is, or nothing is under the voiceover. Sometimes if you do Command F5 to stop voiceover, bring it back up again, things are okay then. But maybe that's not what you're talking about, but that could happen as well. And
It's
go ahead.
Let John finish and then we'll go to Roy. Yeah, so John, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's it. You're like a dinging sound. So that, could be it. I don't know, Kate, if that's what you're talking about, but just thought I'd share that.
Thank you. I think that might be it.
Okay. Roy, go ahead.
Okay, so it's probably not what I was thinking, but if you do a Command O to expand a folder, you do Windows up arrow to collapse the folder, or Command up arrow to collapse the folder. That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. All those are
This is
great.
Brad.
Yeah, Brad.
Yeah, the alternative to John's method of turning voiceover off and on, I find sometimes that putting focus on the dock and then hitting escape to get out of the dock, or VO F2. If you're in Finder, that is VO F2 2 times, or if you're on a touch bar Mac, you'll want to do VO FN and number row 2, because on a touch bar Mac, if you're using voiceover commands that use, if you include the FN key with the VO modifier, it will make the number row keys act as if they were F keys for voiceover commands only. If you do VO F2 2 times, it brings up a list of running windows within that application. And if you select desktop, that may put your focus on the desktop and get out of that situation where you're stuck with a ding.
This is Diane.
Yeah, Diane.
Yeah, I was thinking that it's kind of similar to the question that I asked Valentine's Monday about the voiceover losing focus on, something, there's a window there, but you can't get to it because it keeps dinging, 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 nothing there.
Right.
So that's what Brad gave me that answer. And thank you, Brad, because I think that's what she's talking about.
All right. So, Kate, it sounds like maybe one of those things helped, and thanks for your question. It's we like to cover lots of things here, including how to get out of voiceover difficulties. So, anyway, who would like to ask our next question?
This is Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy.
Um, there have been a couple of terms used that I didn't understand. First of all, I don't know what the M1 chip is. Is that the chip on the newest iMacs?
Yes.
So that's the chip that Apple actually makes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. My second question is, I don't know what Catalyst refers to. Is that an app?
Who wants to explain Catalyst?
This is Brad.
Yeah, Brad.
Catalyst is like a converter. And I guess they use that. I don't know why they use it. Catalyst is a term from chemistry that controls a reaction. So all I can think of is they use that term because Catalyst is a converter that allows an app that was written to run on the iOS operating environment to run on the Mac OS operating environment. And if I'm not mistaken, it only works on the Macs that are running the Apple Silicon chips, which right now we call them M1. Now, one of these days, they're going to come out with another generation that may be called M2 or whatever Apple chooses to call it. But right now, we're on the first generation of Apple Silicon. So they're all M1 something. So that's what Catalyst is. It's just a converter that allows an iOS app to run on Mac OS, provided you're running Apple Silicon M1 chips.
Okay, just quick follow-up question then. So is the Catalyst a feature of Mac OS when
Becky? Oh, sorry.
when it's running on Apple Silicon chip? Is it a feature of Mac OS?
Becky,
Brad,
go ahead.
Yes.
From my understanding of the Catalyst when it first came out, it's something that the developers themselves have to enable in their apps. They have to choose to allow their app to be compatible with the Mac. For example, if you go into the App Store, and it still confuses me to this day, the Mac will say apps that are compatible with the Mac and apps that are not. So that means it has to be enabled by the developers. And the idea that the hype around it, as I understood it, was that, oh, you can develop for both Mac, iOS, and iPad all at the same time, was the idea that I understood it to be.
Oh,
This is Shri.
okay.
Yeah, Shri, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the Catalyst was there with the Intel too, because it was there when I had my iPad Pro with my Intel Mac. Catalyst was introduced, and it's if you look at the evolution of the iPad and the Mac, initially it was started as a standalone unit, and now it's kind of slowly creeping up for the iPad to kind of integrate with your Mac, because you'll see probably in the next 5 years, maybe even less, I don't know, you'll see that the iPad and the Mac are going to get closer and closer. So Catalyst was introduced to start getting that relationship started with these apps to work in both platforms. Because before, when they first started, they were all just standalone. Like the iPad was standalone to the Mac, and the Mac was to the iPad.
Okay, right. Sorry, I was multitasking, but hopefully that gives you some sort of answer. Kathy, I don't think you'll really need to deal with too much of that yet in learning voiceover, at least. So, was somebody else wanting to contribute on this topic, or I can't
It's
remember?
Becky.
Yeah, Becky.
Just a hypothetical question, because every podcast I hear, do you think you will ever get a touch screen on the Mac like you do on the iPad? Because if you're saying they want to integrate it, that would be a way to do it. You think they'll ever do that?
This is Shri.
Yeah, Shri.
I think, Apple's principle why they don't have a touchscreen right now is when a screen is vertically straight, it is a very difficult way to touch gesture. If you look at most of the Windows touchscreens, they're usually, when you're touchscreening it, they're going to more of a flat surface like an iPad. This is a debatable question because it's a philosophy. It's not because they don't want to do it. It's the philosophy of Apple is that they just feel it's a non-human way of touching a screen when it's just vertically up. But you never know. Apple does a lot of interesting things. I'd be kind of curious to see what the next 5 year looks like because the iPad might be the Mac. These things are getting very powerful to what they can do. And if you talk to like the people who bought the new iPad Pros, they're very upset that it's such a powerful tool, but they haven't opened it up to the apps that the Mac does. Like the high-end Mac applications is not available on the iPad. And eventually I think, the gap is going to get closer and closer because we see it. If you look at how things are looking, they're kind of looking like both. They kind of look the same. You have the icons are starting to looking alike.
All right. Go ahead, Herbie.
Couple of thoughts. So first of all, I would argue that if you really want a touch screen experience on the Mac, that is what your trackpad is going to simulate. I know it's not true like you're touching the screen, but it has the sensors and stuff in it. Second of all, my concern with the gap is my biggest concern is it's going in the wrong direction, that they're trying to push more and more mobile apps to the Mac, and there's a pushback rather than pushing more Mac apps to the iPad. And the reason why this is just my thinking, I'm not saying it's a fact, but over the years, Apple, and through their commercials and their presentations, keep touting iPad, iPad, iPad. It's only been really with the introduction of the M1 chip that they've suddenly been really interested in touting Mac much more powerfully recently. But even so, they're still, in their commercials, they're still trying to really sell iPad. And so I'm concerned I wonder if they're trying to close the gap, but in the wrong direction. They're trying to push for the more mobile market because that's a bigger moneymaker for them and less with the computer market. So that
John with a comment.
Okay, Brad and then John, and then I think we're going to, after these two comments, we're going to move on from this topic. So, Brad, go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Herbie. I personally don't think you'll ever see a touchscreen Mac because they don't want, what they want to do is sell iPads. And they're trying to make them as if they're different experiences. The Mac is a desktop experience. The iPad is a mobile experience. I mean, they're now putting the M1 chip in the iPad Pro, and my son has one. He's sighted, not a voiceover user, but he kind of bought that and uses it now in lieu of, he was to the point where he needed he had an aging MacBook Pro, and he decided to go with the iPad Pro, the big one, the 12.9. So I see that's what they're really pushing. That's a mobile experience. So yes, a laptop, a MacBook Pro is mobile, but it's a different kind of mobile. So no, I personally don't think you'll ever see a touch screen on a Mac, like for what reasons outlined by both Shri and Herbie.
All right, John.
Well, my 1.5 cents is that I can't see where a lot of developers would go with that either. And I would agree with everybody else on this. I use Pro Tools. There's others that use Reaper. Now you can say Logic, well, that's an Apple product. So, but your recording DAWs, I just can't see a developer going that route because of what kind of control you need. And that would be awfully tough with a touchscreen. And there you go.
All right. Yep, we'll never really know what Apple does until they actually do it. That's the thing. Lots of rumors abound and theories, but I know, Kathy, your initial question was just getting to the bottom of some of this confusing terminology. So, is there anything else, or if we made things more confusing, I do apologize, but just focus
Kathy?
on the basics. Yeah, go ahead, Kathy.
Oh, all I want to say is thank you for the discussion. It was really helpful to me.
Good. Okay. Well, great. And keep asking us if you don't understand what in the heck we're talking about. So, all right. Who would like to ask our next question? And okay, hold on. There was somebody else speaking. I just want to acknowledge we've had several new people come in. Donna, Herbie, Stamatis, somebody named First Prez, a bunch of people. And who was speaking when Rahul was saying something?
This is Sandhya.
Yeah, Sandhya.
Okay, real quick text edit question. It's my new best friend. So thank
Yay!
you. Yeah, I know. Late to the party, but so just real quickly, I know that I've seen this option of how to save something as a Microsoft Word document but I can't always find it and I don't understand what am I missing because I've seen like save to PDF and other things, but I don't always see the format. I thought there was a way to save in Word.
Okay. Yep, Brad. Go
You do
ahead.
a save as. It's going to first ask you what do you want to call it. It's going to ask you where you want to put it. It's going to ask you if you want to give it any, tags. And then your next one is, I can't remember how it's labeled, the file format. And by default, text that it's going to save as a rich text format. And it's a combo box. You open that up, there's a whole bunch of different choices. And if you're finding PDF, you're in there. And it's a little confusing because it will refer to different versions of Word. It may say Microsoft Word, what does it call it? But anyway, one I'm in is in .doc. There's Word 2003, which calls it a XML. I don't know why, but that was introduced in Word 2003. Then it gets to Word 2007, and that's going to be DOCX. So just go through those and listen to what it says, and it will save it. You can have your choice of a DOC or a DOCX, and once it's saved, for all practical purposes, it is a Microsoft Word file. It may not have as many bells and whistles as is capable when it was actually created in Word, but it can certainly be opened in Word, and all those customizations can be added. It's a Word file.
That's
This
right.
is Sri.
Excellent. Sri, go ahead.
Do you know if that option is available on rich text? Like what I usually typically do is I go to the menu file and go to file. Isn't there one option that's it's not a save as, it's that allows us to like export to a PDF, and in that option, doesn't it say that we can change it to Word also?
Let me look. Yeah, because I think
the only
This is
option is
Herbie.
Word, PDF. You have those two choices in that.
This is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
So are we talking, Sri, are you asking about pages or text edit?
No, in text edit. I'm asking if that option is
No,
available. Like
there's
it's in
no
Pages.
PDF option in text edit. But there's a couple, that would be in Pages where you could export a file to PDF. So you could work with it in text edit, open it in Pages, and export it to PDF that way. But I've never seen a PDF option. Brad, maybe it's something different. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you're going through the file menu, you're not going to see save as, you're going to see duplicate. And a lot of things in the Mac world, when you're going through menus, if you hold down the option key, things will change to their alternate. For example, if you hold down the option key, duplicate changes to save as.
Yes.
And that duplicate will just automatically make a duplicate of the file, give it the same name, and add -copy in the file name. But if you hold down the option key and select, it changes to save as, and you can either select it from the menu, or it tells you the keyboard command, which I believe is Command Shift S. So Command Option Shift S becomes Save As, and that'll open a Save As dialog box.
Oh, and I am finding an export as PDF in the file menu. So
Okay.
I do see it here in the file menu. Because I thought I'd seen it too. Now, you may not get things like Word, the doc, and docs if for some reason your file format is text, plain text. And the way you
No,
toggle
that's right.
between plain text and rich text is by going into the format menu. And then you can also specify in text edit preferences by default whether new documents are plain or rich text. And
This is Brad.
Yeah, Brad, go ahead.
It's actually a keyboard command,
Yes, Command Shift T.
that will
Yeah.
convert a document from text edit to rich text, or
Yes.
from anything to rich text. I mean, to plain text.
Plain text, yes. I just wanted to give them the menu because in case you couldn't remember the key command.
Yes.
Either way, they both do the same thing. And yeah, if a document is just in plain text, then you only get the .txt in your file format. So anyway.
This is Shri.
Yeah, Shri.
So quick question about the duplicate, because what I recall, if I duplicate something and when I try to save that duplicate, doesn't it automatically save it as Save As? Because I get the voiceover says Save As.
No.
This is Brad.
Brad, go ahead.
If you go to that file menu and you choose duplicate, or if you do the keyboard command, Command Shift S, it's just going to create a duplicate of the file, and you will now have two of them in the folder where the file resides, and one of them at the end of the file name will have -copy. And you can, but if you want to do a true save as, you add option. When you're in the file menu, if you hold down the option key, you will see duplicate change to save as, and VoiceOver will read save as instead of duplicate. Or you do the keyboard command, Command Option Shift S, and it will open a save as dialog box and allow you all the options I previously described.
So this is Shri.
Okay, Sandhya, yeah, go ahead.
Just gonna say, I did exactly that. I kept hitting Command Shift S, and I ended up with like 5 copies of the same thing. And I was
Yep.
like, where do I?
Yeah, I've done that before too.
So
Option
anyway,
key
thank
is
you.
your friend.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
It's easy to forget though. Oh my goodness. Yeah. All right. And Shri, who did we accidentally cut off?
This
or
is
did
Shri.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So if the file name says copy, like, because I see it says copy, if I delete it and give it a different name, haven't I done the same thing as a Save As?
Except choosing a file format. So and sometimes it doesn't, at least it doesn't let me delete the name. I think I've deleted the name, but it doesn't actually until you go into the Finder and then rename it. So
This is Shri. Like when I'm in Pages,
Uh-huh.
I do it all the time. It just says, it'll give me the same file name and copy.
Yeah.
And I just go delete it and just rename it.
This is This is Brad. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay.
I mean, you made a duplicate. Now you got two of them with the same name. You go into the Finder where it is, and you can rename the file. But like Chanelle said, if what you wanted to do was change an RTF to a Word file format, DOC or DOCX, you have to do a save as, because there's a little bit more going on there than just renaming the file. And like we said, if you open up that combo box in the save as dialog box, there's probably a dozen different file types you can save something in. I mean, not plain text, there's a keyboard command to do that. But yeah, so, you can duplicate it, but you're not going to be able to change the file format.
Got it. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. I just do it on Pages all the time. So that's what I was trying to figure out.
Sure. Okay. Well, all right. And was Herbie saying something? No.
I was gonna say that, like, I was playing with the duplication earlier because I actually have a new problem I'm trying to help somebody with. And and it let me do a save, and I could change the file name and all that with the duplicate file. But I have a new question, so I'm trying to help somebody. Unless there's anything else that needs to be said on this issue, but it's text edit related. My new question.
All right, well, go ahead. I think we've helped you, Sandhya, haven't we? I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you.
awesome.
All
Okay.
right. So I'm trying to help somebody find, like, they've created a bunch of files in text edit, and they found most of them, but there's one that keeps eluding them. So my trick was, I should have thought about the option S, but I don't know if it would do any good. So like my idea was, okay, duplicate the file, then do a save as on that second file and see where it saves to, because it'll save in the folder where the first document is. But they don't see the file, but they could see, like, when we had them save the duplicate copy, that they saw in the folder, but they did not see the original file. So what my question is there a way, if you see a file in text edit, like in the recents menu, is there a way to get the file is there another way to get the file location?
Oh.
This is Brad.
Yeah, Brad.
I believe there is a rename feature in the file menu, and that may show you the whole path.
Really? Okay.
I've heard of a reveal feature like Command R.
Yeah. Or get info on the file.
Yeah, get info. There you go.
If the thing is opened, Command I may do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Excellent.
This is Sri.
Yeah, Sri.
Does the Command I give you the full path of the file?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It's in there. There's all kinds of stuff, but it's
Yeah.
in there.
It does.
That's good.
John, with
That's
a
a good
real
one.
quick question.
Sure, John, go ahead.
All right, totally off topic. I would like to submit to iBUG a demonstration of a optical character recognition program on the Mac. If I do that, who do I send it to, or what's the procedure on that?
Go ahead and send it to my email address is listed on the iBUG Today website, or you could just send it to ibugtoday@gmail.com. But if you go to the iBUG Today website and look under Macintalk, my email is there. So, yeah, somebody was asking a question about that VOCR app last month in conjunction, I think, using it with some music apps or whatever. But that would be a great demo, and I'd be happy to hear it and listen, and maybe we could play it for Macintalk, or we'd have to see how that goes. But yeah, just get in contact with us through our website.
And that's ibugtoday@gmail.com. Or look for your email address as well. Either or.
Yes.
Okay, it's the reason I want to demonstrate. I mean, it was really slick. I just got my last October my GMRS license, and I'm not going to go into what it is. But a lot of this stuff is now sent via images.
Yes.
And I don't know what my call letters were. So I figured, well, let me scan it, and there you go.
Awesome. And I know there is that new, image recognition, and it even has some enhanced capabilities in the new M1 Max. So maybe, I don't know if that would ever replace the VOCR app. But
yeah, I don't really know if it would at all or not, but it's just what I use. And is it 100%? No, but then what is? So it really is slick.
Awesome.
This is
Okay.
Sri.
Yes, Sri.
Is there live text on the Mac?
That's kind of live text. I know it was getting some of the M1s were getting some of the same features as the iOS 15, but does anyone have a definite answer on that? All right. Well, I guess the case is still out. We don't know for sure.
This is Becky.
Yeah, Becky.
As I understand it, the voiceover recognition I think that is the live text. I think it's somewhere was in iOS 15.
Yeah, it's kind of they're two different. Live text is where, your camera kind of recognizes phone numbers and different things, and then it puts those as a link. But voiceover kind of takes advantage of that feature. Um, it, yeah,
This is Shri.
yeah, Shri.
Live text it's an image. Once the image is captured, the live text is recognizing, it's kind of like the OCR, but what it does is it allows us to capture all that's in the text and we could copy it. I don't think it's really the camera. I think it's like, for example, when I go to my photo, the live text is telling me all the words and numbers that are in the picture.
Okay, I think we can do that by you can use it to scan boxes or scan whatever. I know some people have tried to use that. It doesn't fully replace apps like Seeing AI or Voice Stream or anything, but it can kind of do some of
This
that
is Shri.
stuff. Yeah, Shri.
I don't think we're talking apples to apples here. I'm talking about a picture that's already in your photo library on your Mac, just like the photos in your iPhone. And live text is giving the information that's on the photo or the picture. It's just capturing all the text that's in the
Right.
picture.
Right.
So if your Mac has access to your photo library, I'm just asking if live text would just read out all the text that's on the photo. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. Totally. But I don't know if we.
No,
I
we can find
don't
out
know
next time.
what.
We can meet next time and figure it out. I was just kind of curious because that would resolve the OCR issue if the live text is capturing all those characters' words.
Right. But sometimes we have to do real-time OCR as well.
That's different.
And that,
yeah.
But yeah, okay. All right. Was somebody else trying to make a comment?
This is Kim.
Okay, Kim.
Oh, I was just wondering if we were done with that, if we had one more time for one more question.
Well,
I'm done.
Okay, we have a couple minutes, so if we can make it we're about to end here in just a couple minutes. So
it's a quickie. On Big Sur, I was able to do some, I forget what they were called, keyboard command something. Anyway, it was using the right options key. And if you did right option T, it would give you the date and time.
Keyboard Commander.
Yeah, and if you did right option S, it would bring up Safari. And that's not working in Monterey. And I'm wondering, can I turn that back on? Or
have you tried VO Shift K to turn that back on?
VO Shift K.
Yep.
Oh, no, I haven't. Didn't
Give
know
that a
that would
try.
do that. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Or, yeah.
It's Becky.
Thank you.
Yes, Becky.
Is that where the Apple script comes in? Because I've heard it mentioned, but I don't know what it meant. Is that where
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The short
And
answer
Raheel?
is yes. Okay, Raheel, real quick.
I've been noticing that when I go to About This Mac and then when I click on the software update, it's bringing up a search field, a search box, and I never seen the Mac done that behavior because software update used to come up and I used to navigate with the caps lock keys.
It's
which
in
is the
system
option voiceover.
preferences, and what it's doing is bringing up software update and system preferences. You need to uninteract because the search field is in the toolbar, and so then uninteract and VO right, and you may have to interact again in the other area.
This is Brad.
Yeah, Brad.
Yeah, that's some kind of a bug in Monterey that anytime I open any system preferences window, I'm in the toolbar and I have I am interacted with the toolbar and I'm in that search field. So yeah, like
Yep.
Chanelle says, stop interact to get out of the toolbar. I don't know why they don't fix that.
Okay, so it's uninteract then. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for coming. Thanks for all your great questions. Be sure to visit our website, ibugtoday.org. And our next Mac and Talk will be March 22nd, same time, same place. Come check out our other events. And in the meantime, subscribe to our Mac list or get in contact if you have any questions. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yep.
guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
Bye.
you. Bye.